Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time!
Hey, you know what it is, you know who it is. A1 Music. I'm here as always with my co-host Paul Wilby. And man, keeping the peace. Needs no introduction, but I'm gonna introduce him anyways. Mr. Cornbread 217.
You feel me? What up? Your boy Jan Shao Not a Nan out here. You know what I'm saying? Representing.
Man, good card last night.
Yeah, no, it was some very eventful things, some good decisions, some good fights, some premieres that went in, you know what I'm saying? And it was just all around fabulousness, you feel me? I was personally stoned beyond belief, as well as a little hungover, but you know what I'm saying? That's neither here nor there. But yeah, I'm gonna let you take it away.
All right, yeah. Where to start? Good card, like I said, good prelims. I was high as giraffe pussy too. So yeah, I think that's like every day or most days for me. But yeah, no, it just make everything better, including fights. So where to start? Like, do we starting from the prelims up, or how do we want to run this?
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong either way. I feel like if you start from the beginning, you get to build up, but if you start from the beginning, you get to start at what people really want to hear. So it's a win-win.
Yeah,
So how do you want, basically, do you want to build the suspense and have people tune in for that?
I feel like we
just want to give them their meat and potatoes and then let them decide if they want dessert.
I mean, the way I feel like just to get that they impatient asses to stick around, we could hit them with the meat. But I feel like this card, the prelims and stuff, were so decent that we can start from the bottom and go up, because there was an exception of a fight or two, and actually one of the most lackluster fights of the card was during the main event, and I'm sure we all know which one that was.
Word up.
But I'd say for today, fuck it. Let's start at the bottom, and then we here. Yeah.
All right. So first fight of the regular prelims. Now there was early prelims. I'm saying. Oh yeah, I watched some of these. They were all knockouts or TKOs.
Oh, hit your mic.
My bad. Yeah, we in the same vicinity today, so we trying to keep down on the echo.
It's all good.
We'll
juggle it.
Yeah, you feel me? I don't know which way to go. My camera's backwards, but no, yeah. In the early prelims, it looks like there was 3 fights. There was a couple cancels. Zalgas Zumagulov was supposed to fight. That was canceled. And looks like both of his shits was canceled. But Joseph Holmes lost to Claudio Ribeiro, 2nd round knockout, TKO. Ikram Aliskerov against Phil Howes, 1st round knockout in 210, and a 1st round knockout from Parker Porter and Braxton Smith, which I did catch that fight.
Same.
And so apparently Braxton Smith, his dad was in the NFL. And I forget who it was, who it escapes me right now, but he didn't really fuck with football. Like, he was basically a legacy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then his mom was the one who got him into MMA, and she passed like 8 years ago or something. And so like once she passed, he stopped doing MMA. But then since like he has came back within the last year, and like he was on his 5 wins are from his streak. Like he was on a 5-win streak up to this fight. And I believe it was his UFC debut as well. And against Parker Porter, who, like when they first started going, it wasn't looking good for Buddy. But then like as the fight progressed, you kind of saw, the weaknesses show. And basically it seemed like Braxton gassed out and Parker took advantage of it. You know what I mean? This was a heavyweight fight as well. So, you know what I'm saying? Like outside of like the top 5 dudes, if there's any advice to heavyweights, start getting your hands together. Like use that fucking jab and get in. Stop trying to throw the one shot, or if you're going to throw the one shot, at least set it up.
He was throwing some heat. I thought he was going to knock Porter out. If he would have caught Porter with any of those shots, I think Porter would have went down with one shot because he was throwing some fucking heat.
And that was the thing. It was like he was throwing them with bad intent, but like homie was just like a quarter step ahead, and just like he either didn't hit the button or he would just miss completely. And again, when you try to throw that one shot, that shit is more tiring than if you just throw combinations with good technique. You know what I'm saying? Because you're throwing everything in that. So essentially, like, dude kind of just gassed out and gave up and got mounted and beat on until it was stopped. So, you know what I'm saying? There was that. So that concluded the early prelim. Now we're on to the prelims. Now, I understand that we missed this parlay, but this was my choice. You know what I'm saying? Because I did a little homework on these two individuals, Mahina Rodriguez, because she from Brazil, so you got to turn those hard R's into soft R's.
Right?
Hey, no hard R's in Brazil. That's why you down there. You just nigga.
That's what it's with the ha.
You feel?
It's with the hot R's.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was her versus, and like I see this is where because it's we would say a Jandarova, right? But it's not that. Jandarova, it's something crazy. Virna, nigga, just call her VJ. Okay.
Right. I like VJ.
So VJ versus Rodriguez. And as they're coming out, the stand-up's looking good for Rodriguez. You know what I'm saying?
As usual,
VJ starts the wrestling shit, right? And you're like, okay, she gets a takedown. Oh, girl kind of gets to the fence, and like she won't let her get up. You know what I'm saying? So then they get to talking and stuff. John Anik is kind of like Mr. Statistic and Mr. Information. He's like, yeah, so I'm talking to VJ, and she, whereas most women, have been grappling maybe for like 5-6 years, she was grappling with like, with the likes of like Dan Henderson. And you know what I'm saying? Back in 2005 is when she started wrestling. And so she's been doing this shit for 18 years. And so it would be a thing where she would like wrap up Rodriguez, and then like, as if she definitely had her legs, she wasn't going nowhere. And but it also kind of made me mad because she was like getting these good positions, but not doing anything with it. She was just kind of like holding her down and showing that I got control of her. You know what I'm saying? Which is what the big thing about people wrestling and ground control stuff is. It's like, okay, you get the takedown, right? I'll give you the takedown. But if you're not doing anything with that position, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that they're like resisting and you can't do anything. That's different. But what I'm saying is,
I was gonna say, and I'm not
ahead.
to interrupt you, but no, keep that point in mind for later when we talk about another fight. The not doing anything with position.
You keep that in mind too.
Oh, I will, because this is kind of why. Like, we'll get to it.
I know we will. I know you can't wait with burning vigor. You know what I'm saying? And you know what vigor rhymes with. We ain't gonna do that on this show. I won't allow it. I'm the ref too. So, you know. Look,
Is that a DQ or a point deduction?
no, we good. But yeah, like, so you know what I mean? So basically for 5 rounds, VJ went out there and, like, you know, they were standing up. Soon as she would get popped a couple times, she went back to wrestling. And that's basically what got her the decision. You know what I'm saying? I put that it was going to be a decision, but we didn't get it in time. But I was kind of pleased with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I
The
felt
pick was
like,
good.
yeah, the pick was good. I kind of did homework on it. I said to myself, okay, if this is how the last 5 have turned out, I went with my roulette rules. You know what I'm saying? I was like, if this is the last 5, this is what it's saying right now it's going to be determined as. You know what I mean? So, nice job, VJ, even though I feel like you could have did more. Thoughts, comments? Hold on. Let me go ahead.
No, I agree. It was a pretty. It was not a really a close fight due to the takedowns and to the control. It's not like she just sat there and did nothing. She was trying for shit. But yeah, like my take is it comes in later on a fight, and I almost promise you it's not the fight that y'all thinking. Like, you're gonna be kind of surprised about my take on this. So, but no, the I'm agree that, like, with takedowns this day and age, you have to be doing something with it. We're finally getting to a spot where the takedown and the controlling in itself, I mean, it's good. You're gonna get some points off of it, but it's not everything. Like, in case in point, the Jan O'Malley fight. Like, Jan had some control time and some takedowns and stuff, but in the big picture of the fight, I think that's why they gave it to O'Malley, that because O'Malley was just doing more on the feet. Jan had his moments on the feet, but all in all, this is the type of fights and the fighters that the UFC wants to push. So it's going to be what the judges are looking for now, and fighters are going to have to adapt.
I agree. I thought it was a good fight. I love watching Marina Rodriguez fight. She's good on the stand up, but she obviously she didn't really have an answer for VJ's ground game. So, I mean, you got to be a well-rounded fighter in the UFC, regardless of what division you're in, what gender you are. The time of the one-trick ponies is over. You got to be good at everything. So, Marina Rodriguez obviously needs to step up her ground game a little bit.
And you said it too. No more one-trick ponies. We're gonna get to that later as well.
Yep. It's going to be a common theme.
Yes. And I think, you know, looking back on it now, I think this is going to be one of them UFCs that maybe people don't see it now, but they're going to look back and be like, holy shit. Like, that was one of them, like, game changers. You know what I'm saying? Because of, like, kind of how shit went for everybody. Like, this was kind of one of the first times where you didn't know which way it was going to go. You know what I mean? Like, because and a lot of it was due to, like, yeah, this is a good matchup, you know what I'm saying? But like in that fight, like you said, Rodriguez is known for her striking and shit. And she was piecing her up. You know what I'm saying? But coupled with the fact that you don't have, is that me? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what it is. My bad though.
I missed it.
Okay. No, but so what was I saying? Fuck.
We're
Oh,
talking about
so
the
I was
Rodriguez
saying,
fight.
yeah, so I was saying that like she's good at striking. Obviously the other VJ's good at wrestling, you know what I'm saying? That's where her, you know, strengths are. And so when you have something like that, it's always interesting to see who gets through the adversity. You know what I'm saying? Is it going to be the striker and that deters the takedowns? Or is it going to be the wrestler who just eats the strikes on the way in? You know what I mean? And the wrestler won in this one. You know what I mean? Like, because, and again, we've seen what can happen when it's applied. So, like Chuck Liddell, the Iceman was the first person that we saw who had hands and feet, and you could not keep or take him down. At one point, you couldn't even take him down. You know what I'm saying? And like he had an answer for that. You feel me?
It took like Randy Couture and some really, really like great base wrestling to even get him like that. And Couture got him the first time. The next 2 fights couldn't do it because Chuck adapted.
And that's it. Like, so again, so what I'm saying is this is going to be one of those UFCs where you watch each fight and like you can see the levels of people now. Like you can start seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Even before, like you would have never seen a number 10 against a non-ranked person. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and now that's happening more often. Do you feel me?
And I mean with good cause too, because it's not like these non-ranked people that they're throwing in with them are I mean they might be no names as far as like the big stage, but these people have put in work. Even in one of the fights that we're referring to, this dude had his first fight in the UFC, but had I think it was like 31 other fights prior to making his debut. He also trains a lot of top tier opponents, including the current, what is it, strawweight champion Alexa Grasso. But I'm skipping ahead. What we got next on the card? What's the next fight?
So next fight was Chaos Williams versus Rolando Bedoya from, I believe it's Peru. Where's Claudio Puelles from? They're from the same place. And I believe it was his debut as well. And he was 26, 14-2. Chaos Williams from Detroit, you know what I'm saying? Representing the Midwest.
Represent Detroit anyway.
Yes, sir.
Indiana. Okay. Okay. All right. Indiana originally. Shouts to Mike Epps too. In the map.
Let me take the lead a little bit on this one.
Go ahead.
So like this fight, and I like DC as a fighter, not so much as a commentator. He's gotten better. I'll give him credit. Like, because when Dominic Cruz called him out a few years ago about not doing his homework, he went and did his homework about it. So I'll give him credit on that. But he's getting to a point now too to where like, and yeah, he's calling what he's seeing and he's trying to critique, but he's also a little over the top. How many times during that Chaos Williams fight did you hear DC, oh well, but if he just does this, if he just does that, and it's great, but like DC, if you that like convicted on pointing out what he need to be doing, go train the motherfucker. Right. Go train these people, because I guarantee you they probably know what they're supposed to be doing. And I agree even with the points that DC was making. Like if Chaos really had, you know, tightened up his stand up and threw his punches a little bit straighter, he probably would have had Bedoya out in the first.
Not to interrupt, but it's hailing outside. So I don't know if your windows and shit is up, but I see big ass golf balls.
I got a little crack, so I'm gonna go check them. I'm gonna jump on.
Word up. No, yeah, check your shit out if you're in Illinois and the central area. Yeah, nigga, like
it's raining.
I just looked and I was like, oh shit,
it's raining.
Because I kept hearing pat pat, pop 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 pop, and like yeah.
Let me see if my shit's raining.
Yeah, no, hey, take a break. You know what I'm saying? We can edit later, nigga. We record.
No, good. We're all sunny and fucking rainbows over here. No precipitation yet.
No, I just seen it, Sam. It's amazing. I'm like, nigga, that's hard ass rain. Like I knew it was gonna rain. I didn't know. I never know when it's hailing.
Right.
Because it don't feel the same. You know how you can feel the rain, nigga, or you can smell that shit and be like, nigga, it's finna rain. Hell no. Because I thought it was my fan. And that's why I looked over there and I'm like, oh, I can see that rain, like the individual drops. No, that ain't it.
That's kind of crazy.
Well, smoke break.
Hey, can't complain about it, honestly.
No.
Win-win.
Oh, what is it? The race days, Sunday evening. I could rock with Sunday evening. Maybe. Ooh. Ooh, I don't know. Because I'm trying to think, like, if, summer coming up, and so we're going to be traveling.
Right.
So, like, Sundays are usually the comeback day. Man. I'm sorry, I got to stay with Thursday. Because that's what it is now. Everything good?
Mm-hmm. First.
Go.
Nah.
Nah.
Oh, this ball checking his stuff.
Uh-huh.
We're good to go.
He said we're good to go. He said you ain't incriminating me.
Baby mamas and shit like that, custody.
Yeah. Dog, I fucking wish mine would, any of them. Okay. And action. No, just but
All right.
I was impressed by Chaos Williams' gas tank for as hard as he was throwing, that he was able to get the decision after 3 rounds of fucking winging him like that.
Yep.
Not bad for
Also,
the guy.
the kind of non-fight related, but about one of the fighters of this fight, Bedoya. How this motherfucker like 25, 26, but look younger than Rojas Jr. I swear to God, I thought this kid was like 15. I said, dude, get this kid out of the cage. Like, he's going to get hurt. But nah, he held his own and
Right.
surprised me. I got to remember, especially this day and age, if the UFC's got him on a roster, they're probably really fucking good. Because I did not see that coming, and I need to quit judging a fighter by its cover.
Unless your last name's Gracie.
Hey, you getting ahead of the game right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need you
Yeah,
to back off.
We'll get to that. You're right.
I'm gonna need you to back off the family legacy for right now. Okay. Well, you'll have your chance.
Hands off.
You'll have your shot. Hold on. Let me get some more light on this chocolate, because you know what I'm saying. It seems to not be doing it. There we go. We're getting a little brighter in here as the day goes. But okay. Anything else about that fight?
Well, I don't know if we mentioned that Bedoya got the dub. Chaos did. It was a split, right?
Yeah, it was a split.
That was actually kind of a controversial because in real time, anyways, I thought Bedoya had it. I felt like he fought the crisper, cleaner fight. But that's why you don't leave it to the judges.
And that's why it's split. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying. We probably gonna discuss
that's going to come into
Yeah.
that's going to be a factor in one of our talks or one of the fights later here too, to where like we was kind of baffled at the outcome, but again we'll get to it. Yeah, we're gonna try to stick with the congruency of this because we're doing pretty good so far.
Next fight, we had Kennedy Chikuwu. Is that how you say that?
That's pretty good, I think. Not entirely sure.
Versus Devin Clark. And this one ended in a submission in round 2. What did he do? Was this the guillotine?
Well, this is the one
That's
where
the one where they thought he tapped.
that one, yeah, and that first round, fucking Clark was getting fucked
Yeah.
up, and I mean, it
I
was
like
some wacky
Clark,
bull.
man, but
Yeah,
he just
Clark.
I do too. I wasn't.
he seems to have fight
I
IQ
expected
issues because he's athletic, he's got skill. He's 14-8. I mean, over 50% of your fights are losses. Like, fuck, man, come on. I like watching him fight, but it's hard to be a fan when you're 14-8 and you want to follow winners.
This is facts.
He looked like badass when he had his Freddie Mercury mustache, though. I feel like that was peak Devin Clark when he just had that big fucking caterpillar stash, dude. That shit was sick.
Word up. Yeah, light heavyweight too. So Kennedy got a nice little hammer on him. He was hitting him with 10 hammers, man. Ain't that what you said?
It was yeah.
Yeah, elbows, man.
Yeah,
He's
he
fucking
hit
just
the man
bam,
behind that ear.
bam.
Oh
Yeah,
my
man.
God.
He was. Props to Devin Clark for even staying. I just found a picture of him with the mustache. There he is. But, dude, yeah, props to him for not going down because he ate some hard elbows.
Yeah. And them was the one. So then to conclude the prelims, we had Drew Dober against Matt the Steamroller Frivola. And I believe he's the one from the area. And yeah, first round, TKO. And Dober later was contesting it like, no, man, I was cool, but no, you wasn't cool.
Yeah, man, it was
Double D, you was.
I like to
up.
let fights go on, and I'm even a Drew Dober fan, and he was hurt.
Well, and the thing I liked about it too is not only did Frivola go out and do his thing, kind of played upset because he was the underdog on that one, but he did the most with his post fight time. He called out a big name in Paddy Pimblett, and really, I feel like if you throw those two in the cage right now, Frivola fucking works him. That's just
same. I don't think they'll take that fight.
I don't think
Paddy's
the
team
UFC
will
would
let him
even
take
offer
fight.
that to him,
right?
Because it's not a good.
They're
match.
trying to build him.
Well, and I was surprised they were talking about putting Pimblett and Dober against each other, and I feel like even Dober would fucking walk him.
Yeah, I think Dober would too, but I think that's a good fight. Is Dober ranked?
No. I was gonna say I don't think so, but I don't have my
He's
stats.
close,
I'm doubling.
though.
I'm using
He's
my
right at
phone
the-
as a lighting source because we on the
He's
fly
right
here.
around that. He's right around that into the rankings level, but I feel like that'd be a
he's
good
got a
test for him and a
name,
good fight.
Like he's inside.
And he's not. Yeah, he's not. He's got the name. He's not quite in the rankings. It'd be a good test for Paddy, but I do think it's a little bit dangerous also. So I see why the
I don't think they do that to Paddy either. You know what I'm saying? But
when was the last time Paddy fought? It's been a minute.
Let's check it out.
Was the Jared Cannonier fight?
Yep.
Jared Cannonier?
Or not Cannonier, what's his name? Jared Gordon.
Jared, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The fight that he lost.
Okay, it hasn't been that long.
Even though he got the dub.
Yeah, a lot of people thought Jared Gordon got robbed, if I remember correctly. I don't think I saw that fight. His picture on fucking Sherdog is him shaking his ass.
They're saying that.
Yeah, Jared Gordon, Jordan Levitt, Kazula Vargas, Vendramini. Yeah, that's crazy. I want to say I feel like I've never seen him fight either. Like, I don't know why. That's crazy. But, yep. That concluded the prelims, and now on to the main Kizard. Now, this is where I say it starts turning into like, okay.
Fuck Bryce Mitchell. I'm glad both his fights got canceled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
And-
rumor is he slipped on his cum sock and fucking hurt his
Oh,
back.
Because he was supposed to go against Evloev or whatever.
and then someone else too, right?
And
Oh, maybe
Jonathan
I'm wrong.
Pierce got canceled against Bryce Mitchell.
Okay, I got one more.
Okay.
What?
The Earth might be flat, but Bryce Mitchell's back's not.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Yeah, man. I'm not with his shits, that's for sure.
Okay. So this is what I mean by like, this is like a tide turning UFC. Like it's gonna be one of them ones that like snuck by people because
Almost kind of like a changing of the guard, right?
yeah, almost. So first fight, Chrome Gracie, Charles Jourdain, Air Jourdain, right?
Before we even say another word.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, before we even say a word about the fight, I want to say a big shout out, big respect to the Gracie family, regardless of what about it's about to get talked about. Because without the Gracies, the UFC probably would not be what it is. We might not even know what the UFC is. I'm sure MMA would have came around, but no. Shout out to the Gracie family and for what they
Right.
Orion. Oh.
You're both muted.
My fault. I was on on my notes page. I was saying Horian Gracie is one of the original founders. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I believe that makes Hoist his nephew. You feel me?
Right.
I don't know. We can look it up. I want to be correct.
Hron is the son of
Hickson.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and Hickson is Hoist's brother.
It's Hoist's
And
brother.
yeah, no, Hickson's one of the OGs. Hickson was actually supposed to be the one who competed.
But they
on
chose
the
Hoist
original
because he was
UFC.
smaller, right?
Yep. And
Yep.
also I want to say there were some other things going on with Hickson at the time. I don't know if it was visa issues or just like Hoist just happened to be the better fit and to kind of prove what they was talking about. Yeah, hey,
I think
like,
they wanted to use him because he was smaller, because they wouldn't be
Yep.
because it would really prove how good the jiu-jitsu was if a
Yep.
smaller guy was
but
doing it for bigger
I
guys.
feel like they should have just gone with Hickson because Hickson was the better practitioner. Period.
Right. I feel like either way it played out well. Jiu-jitsu is nationwide now.
Yes. So
worldwide now, pretty much.
and they did exactly what they were supposed to do to put Jits exactly where it is. You know what I'm saying? Jits is remember like in the 80s with karate, nigga? Like, you know what I'm saying? And even like a little before that, but like I feel like the 80s is when it was like, oh, put your kid in karate and hiya, and 3 ninjas came out and Ninja Turtles, fam. You feel me? Like all that shit. But like, dog, but that's when motherfuckers, because it was more than just, oh, I'm learning punching and kicking and defense. Like you learn everything. And so that's when motherfuckers started watching anime. Because Japanese people made anime, you know what I'm saying? And started eating sushi and like that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, I was in Taekwondo, fam. I was like, I want to fuck with Korean girls and eat budokan. You know
Hell
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
dude.
Like, so I get it. Like, but yes. So back to the fight. Again, we know what the Gracies do. We know what they have done. Legends, you know what I'm saying? At this point in time, in this age of mixed martial arts, you cannot just do that shit anymore. You can't just be Mr. Jiu-Jitsu and not, and like, let's say even if you are, right? You can't just go at a motherfucker and not jab your way into some shit. Or throw some combos before shooting the takedown.
Scooting on your booty like a dog.
Yeah, scooting on your ass like a dog. Like, that shit can't happen no more, fam. because we've seen that shit for 30 years.
Did you see what Dana said about it?
Well, and I was about to say I was looking at some of the comments and the threads of like them
Dana
talking
said
about
it was like
losing.
taking a time capsule back to 1995.
It's like no, it's like somebody came and scooped him out of 1995 or one of the first 5 UFC events and brought him to current day, and he tried the same shit that motherfuckers were winning with though back then. Like, but this shows that the days of the one trick pony is over. And the thing is like I'm not even calling Crone a one trick pony. He is a specialist. I mean, look at the last name. You're gonna know he knows his shit when it comes to jits. But if you look at his prior fight, and DC was actually mentioned in this, and I agreed. Crone can throw. Crone can actually box.
Not to interject, but that fight also was against Cub Swanson.
Yeah, and Cub can box. Like, so that like dude can hold his own with that. My personal belief is, and again, people aren't talking about it, but and it's a pretty known fact, at least to people of the fight game. Crone Gracie and the Diaz brothers are like this, like that. They're homies, and a lot of people are mad at Crone for the way he dealt with media week and the press and the pre-fight and everything. He just did not seem interested. He didn't seem like he wanted to be there. And with all due respect, he didn't want to be there because that company does your best fucking friend as wrong as they've done the Diaz brothers, and he's supposed to go in there and smile and play the good guy. Nah, like he's one of them, like them real fighters, does not need to sell a fucking gimmick. He's gonna be who he is, just like the Diaz brothers. Yeah, some of that is some talk, but they is really about that life. Like that, it's talk and it does help sell fights, but this would be the same talk these motherfuckers would be saying if they had never fought around in the UFC and they were still running around the streets of Stockton. Like that, there's a difference.
Didn't Nate Diaz just choke a nigga out in New Orleans on Beale Street?
The Logan Paul lookalike, nonetheless.
Yeah.
No, he
So
he had to
maybe he
turn
thought it
himself
was Logan
into-
Paul. We don't know.
No, the guy that he actually choked out is a fighter. I think it's like an amateur level fighter, but actually has some experience in stand up and some jujitsu and stuff. Dude's claiming that Diaz caught him off guard, but nah, bro. Diaz.
I
is
saw
just
the
that.
video. He charged him. What?
Yeah. Nah, dude was lit. Thought he was gonna start some shit. I don't even understand why Diaz is having to answer to charges. Period. That was obviously
Right.
self defense. But
This should be like the Mike Tyson thing that happened on the plane a year ago. It should just be brushed away like dumbass gets what dumbass deserves.
hey,
type
bro,
shit.
yeah, fuck around and find out. But
Hell no.
the Crone Gracie fight was a lopsided. I mean, there was a couple close. Like I think had a couple spots where he might have threatened in the first round, but then from that point on, who was it? Evloev? Or no, that was Jourdain. Yeah, no, Jourdain caught onto it and played very smart even when he was in the ground and in his guard. He was elbows tucked, head tucked, like wasn't giving him anything. And even not giving him anything that first round, he still, try to pull some magic. But yeah, we're finally at a spot this day and age where if you are a specialist, you still have to be well-rounded everywhere else, or you're gonna get ate up. And I'm actually alluding to that. I'm interested to see what would happen if Pereira actually gets put against a really good wrestler.
It's bad.
Because
It's gonna be bad news for
yeah,
him.
yeah, unless he can keep him off. Like, and again, everybody's got a puncher's chance. Every fight starts on his feet. But
The only world
there's
where
levels
Alex
to
is
it.
champion is where Izzy has the belt before him, in my opinion, like, or another kickboxer.
Wrong button there. My bad. No, I was gonna say, yeah, to exactly what you just said. So it was like in the first round, Crone went to pull guard and everybody almost like gasped, like, oh shit, here we go, you know what I'm saying? And then nothing happened. And then he tried it like 2 or 3 more times throughout the fight, and by the third, when people were like, bro, And because look, and that exactly goes to tell you, because their dad, the inventor of the shit, I remember watching the shit on 2020 when I was like 7, nigga. And they were like, oh, this is what's the dad's name? Helio or whatever.
Yeah.
They were like, yo, this is who this is, and he invented this. And he started doing that shit to the nigga that was interviewing him, right? Like, and he was, and so, because he was like, man, help me understand how to go through this. And Helio was like, all right, here we go. And the first thing this nigga did was pull guard on the reporter. He said, now this is my favorite position because it's, we teach it in basics as a defensive position. He was like, but I've learned to use it offensively. He was like, well, what do you mean? He was like, well, for instance, if we bring you here, do this, that's a guillotine. Bring you here, do this, that's an arm bar. Bring you here, do this, that's go-go plata. Bring you here, and like he's literally just like, bro. And I'm like, this motherfucker might be the coldest nigga in the world. But he and like at the time had to be like 65 or 70. You know what I'm saying? Like that nigga was in World War II for real. As a Brazilian. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, fam. So, like, I remember seeing that and being like, wow, these motherfuckers, that's who's teaching sons and grandsons and great-grandsons, nigga, lineage. And then here we are, like, 40 years plus for them. But, like, for us, 30, like, on the main screen, you know what I mean? Like, there ain't been Brazilian jiu-jitsu movies. I remember when Only the Strong came out and niggas lost their mind over capoeira choreography. Like, not even the real shit, but it was real niggas and lineage of that shit in the movie. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's real talk. But at the same time, compared to, like, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like a play movie. But, like, a whole country learned about a martial art and practiced it off of it. Indonesia. You feel me? Like, so that's the power, though. But, like, yeah, I know we talking a lot about Gracie. Well, I am, but I'm just saying it ain't.
It's fun.
But that's the thing. That's the respect we have for like what they've done for this shit. Like, nigga, you're a third or more of the pie that is mixed martial arts. You know what I'm saying? It's like your shit, boxing and wrestling is pretty much the top 3.
Right.
If
you don't know jiu-jitsu, you're fucked. Even if you don't mainly practice it, if you don't know how to defend it, you're fucked.
Yeah. Like,
modern MMA.
And that's real talk. So with that being said, we can move on unless y'all got something to add.
I'm good.
Okay. Word up. So next fight was the Mavsar Evloev, and he was supposed to fight, who did we say earlier? Your boy Bryce Mitchell. Now that's Paul's boy this time. It ain't A1's boy. It's Paul's boy. Yeah. Because if you hate him, that's got to be your boy. Because the opposite of hate is love. So you gotta love him with hate. If you're gonna do it right.
Okay, I love Bryce Mitchell.
I love him with hate.
I really hope he doesn't fall off the edge of the world because I love him so much.
Oh, right. No, that would be just tragic. But yeah, Aviola and Lopez is who replaced him. And Lopez, this was what's his first name? I don't have my
Diego
Lopez. My bad. I don't have my cheat sheet in front of me because I gotta use my phone as a motherfucking flashlight, not a flashlight. But yeah, no. Aviola and Lopez. Lopez stepped in on it was like 8 days notice or something like that. It was pretty short, maybe a couple weeks, 3 weeks tops. But Lopez is the fighter that we alluded to earlier that had never had a UFC fight, but had plenty of experience fighting and training. Like, dude is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner and teacher. He rolls and helps train current strawweight champion Alexa Grasso. He made his debut and he was a plus 1,000 underdog. He was the biggest underdog of the card. And the motherfucker did not fight like it because let me tell you,
I was hoping you were gonna. Yeah, he threw down.
No, like pleasantly surprised. That was another one of them. When I saw his face, I'm like, this dude fights. Like he just seems happy to be there. But nah, he backed it the fuck up. Like the entire fight. And I put some money on the cards last night. Some of the fights I had actually put a $2 bet originally on Lopez just on the money line, just because why not?
Right.
But about
That's a
10 minutes
dozen.
before the fight started, I heard that Aviola was Dagestani, and I canceled that bet. And then about 60 seconds into that fight, I was like, I should have canceled that. Ultimately, Aviola did get the decision, but it was constant pressure, constant attacks from Lopez. Lopez has found a home in the UFC. I guarantee you we will see another fight from him. They actually got fight of the night. So not only did he fill in, he probably got a little extra bag for the short notice,
Did you
but he
see
got an
the video
extra
of Dana
bag.
talking to him? There's a video of him talking to Dana, like as he was on his way out of the cage, and if I remember correctly, he got fight of the night bonus, and even though he lost, Dana gave him his win money because he threw down so good on such
Oh, I
short
believe it. Yeah,
notice.
I believe it.
Yeah.
He earned it. He definitely earned it, and I would definitely like to see this dude again. I don't remember
Same,
what
yeah.
his chest tattoo said, but it was a very positive message in English, which I think is funny, like because he's Brazilian. I think it's funny anybody that's not American getting English on him. But I laugh. I say that used to have a motherfucking Japanese glyphs on my calf. So yeah, I just the irony. um, you got a take on that? You want to speak on that?
I was gonna say, yeah, absolutely. Like, as far as like a feature bout in the UFC, I can't think of one that's been better in the last probably 2 to 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like debut bout, like you're like, whoa, bro.
The only one that might stack to that, and it wasn't even for like what the dude did himself, but it was for the punishment that he got dished out on him, was what was it, like Mojino or something, that
Chris
Hispanic
Machino.
dude that fought Buccino,
Yeah.
that fought fucking O'Malley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was like one of them short notice ones that I was pleasantly surprised with, just because you could take a punch.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nickel,
Absolutely.
but he was kind of expected to dominate coming in, so it's a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
no,
different.
that was expected.
Right.
Word, but no, like, so I'm trying to think, man. So this is a fight, like, I kind of started watching it and was like maybe on the phone or on TikTok or something, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And as it kept going, I was like, hold on. And I'm watching Young Bull, right? And they get to the cage and they start getting on the ground, and homie's like trying to like sweet dude, but like got his arm in a clamp, you know what I'm saying? And like he's defenseless on that side, but you can't even hit that side. So I still got like this man knows where he's at. You know what I'm saying? And that's the first thing I noticed. The second was, and like they said some too. So when you got a grappler or like, you know, a jujitsu nigga like that, a lot of them will, you know, as the rounds progress, they'll get tired, you know what I'm saying? Or like they'll slow up at least on trying to like grapple and shit because it takes more energy. No, this motherfucker was the juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't even slow down. Like he rested for like a minute, like and was kind of inactive, defensive. But then like it was like second win. You know what I'm saying? And then what absolutely amazed me about the motherfucker was the shit that he was trying to lock in. This motherfucker had like a Nina Williams Tekken 2 Kimura, nigga. Like off the fucking the third move off the chain and shit. Like he had one of them and the dude wasn't tapping. He tried the fucking ankle lock, went for the what's the call? The back shit. Homie wasn't on that. He said, okay, well, let me get your other knee in. Bowed this nigga shit out, and the motherfucker still didn't tap. I said, you have to give this motherfucker money. Like he's doing everything in his power, and like, you know, maybe he could have snapped homie shit, and you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? But like, man, come on. Don't make me be an asshole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to end your career because of your fucking ego. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it was a couple times so I'm like, ooh.
That's the thing, man. Are you the dick for breaking their arm, or are they the dick for not tapping? Because
No, they're
like
the fucking dick.
that's how I feel. Like
we've
you should
seen Never
tap. You
Back
should not give
Down.
up your arm.
Michael John White should have snapped that fucking kid's shoulder, and it wouldn't have been no more movie.
What's his name? Bantamweight Dagestani dude that just fought, and literally I can't think of, like,
Marab?
dude's really good. No, not Marab. It's like it's like from Islam's
Oh yeah.
camp.
Fuck.
It's got like a very similar last name too. And I want to say it's like Makachev,
No,
but it's similar.
Saad Nurmagomedov, Said or Saad or whatever.
No, not Umar. Not one of the
Yeah,
new
I was thinking Umar, never mind.
Nurmagomedovs. He just fought. It was like within the last month or so.
I thought it was like Ankalaev or
Something like not Ankalaev because he's light heavy.
No, but
But no, dude's really good, and like this is one of the few fighters, and I can't say I'm a casual fan, but this is one of them fighters that I heard about probably a year or two before he just made his UFC debut. So like there's been eyes on him for a minute, but his first UFC fight, dude, legit probably did like some serious ligament damage to his legs because the dude wouldn't tap, and he didn't tap. He ended up getting the W because of it. But yeah, that so it's really, and when it comes down to that, it's never on the person doing the move. It's on the other dude if they're not tapping. And the only exception really is obviously like a guillotine if somebody goes to sleep, but then really it would be on the ref to get them the fuck off of them.
that's why
a
we
lot
have
of
the
people
ref.
on the internet who say the opposite. Like, oh, you shouldn't ruin someone's career to win. I'm like, what do you like? What, you're trying to feed your family, you know what I mean? It's not on you to look out for the other person's safety at that point.
But therein also, isn't that exactly what a knockout is? When you sleep somebody,
right?
That can fuck them up,
right? 100%.
And multiple ones of those can fuck them up.
People just
so
don't
what
see
are
it
we
the same,
talking
I guess.
about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because again, the only reason you can't tap when you're knocked out is because you're knocked out.
Right.
But with that being said, I've seen people get hit and be like, nope, I quit.
Right.
And the ref's like, stop then.
Verbal tap.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like that's the same thing. So why does it matter if I got your arm back here and you're not doing anything?
That's I
you
agree.
Ain't sleep. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
No, I'm bowing your shit out, but I'm gonna fucking scream the whole time. Be like, motherfucker, tap, snap,
tap in 3, 2.
Dog, especially if I hear the shit snap, I'm going crazy. I'm gonna get off your leg and I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face.
And so,
but no, that was fight of the night. Sorry.
Fight of the night. Fucking everybody got paid on that one because of what they did. And correct me if I'm mistaken, but the fight after was Andrade versus Zhao Nan, correct?
Yep.
Man, and
Shao, not a Nan.
Yeah, no, and again, like I said, I was putting some money on the fights. I don't ever really put a ton. Like I think my biggest bet was $380 last night, but usually anywhere from $2 to $3 bets on my cards. I put something told me like she just I think Jan and pause. I ain't trying to sound racist, saying that she remind me a lot of the current champ. Yeah, Zhang Weili. They're just very similar in their styles. They just really push the pressure when they're in there.
Chinese.
And they're both Chinese. But something told me, hey, let's back Zhao Nan on this, and it worked out. I picked her. I did a double chance. It was either by TKO or I think by like points. And she came through, caught Andrade, and Andrade is a banger. Like she comes to play. She's tough. She can hit hard, and she got slept.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. I would have been. I'm pretty sure. Like, do you know how big of an underdog Jenon was?
I
Because I
want to say
guarantee
she
you
was like
Andrade was
plus
favorite.
200.
Yeah, 2-1 underdog. See, it's
So
definitely gonna be cool for China as far as one. Like, I've seen a lot of people calling for How do you say it?
Xiaonan.
Zhaonan
Yeah,
versus
Yan Xiaonan.
Zhang Weili now. So like, if that actually happens, that would be a fucking huge, like, I don't know, event for China. Really, like,
Yeah. So two things. One, didn't realize Jessica Andrade was 5'1", fam. I said that's why there's such a fucking attitude and a serious face.
thick,
0.2.
5'1" and thick.
0.2. Dre was today years old when he found out Jessica Andrade had or has an OnlyFans. I don't know if she still does, but nah. He goes,
It's like a sports OnlyFans though, right? Not like a nude OnlyFans.
no,
It's like
you see
it's
it.
a
You
nude
see it all.
OnlyFans.
Yeah,
Oh shit! I didn't know that either.
yeah. I'll send links if y'all need them.
You know I do. And three, Xiaonan is actually in the run for a title fight. So for the first time in UFC history and maybe martial arts history outside of China, we'll have an all Chinese championship, Nick.
That'll be cool.
You know
honestly.
what I'm saying? That'll be fucking dope.
Right? Yeah, I like that
You know what I'm
storyline.
saying? Like, dog, that's my shit.
It's
Because
like
I
a mini
already,
Chinese Olympics.
yeah,
for
dog.
MMA.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
that's cool. That's cool.
Come on. If you don't respect that and like understand what that is, nigga, you don't understand and like martial arts.
Yeah, I like that too, man. That's really cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's fucking dope. So, man, okay, in the fight. So I want to say this ended round 1. Yep. So, dog, came out. Jan's boxing, and Jan is the family name, so it's like calling her Rogers, and her name is Steve. So Jan, she coming in there, and like, man, they said, yo, her boxing really improved, and this, that, and the other, and she start piecing up Andrade a little bit, and I don't know what it is about Brazilian bitches, but they don't like getting hit in the face, because then they just lose all their training, and Andrade, you seen it. Like, she just came unwired, fam, and like started throwing wild shit. Started trying to chase this little Asian bitch. Little baby came back and said, check step back hook, nigga. That's called what they always got a name like, nigga, Phoenix gets the bird or some shit. You know what I'm saying? She hit her with that shit, nigga. Andrade said, and then she fell down. She got a couple one of these and said, I'm ready to go, fam. It was a wrap.
Right. Yeah, man, I was impressed.
There he goes.
Andrade came
Man,
out
I
with
did
the name
not see
value.
that coming, and I was like, yeah, something told me. I think that was one of my $3 bets or something. And I think I should have just picked that straight KO TKO, but she had a couple decisions leading up to that, to where I was like, nah, if I'm picking, I want that double chance. And I want to say, yeah, for $3, it was 8 something payout. So yeah, like $11 or something altogether.
Still a
Like,
big
well,
dub,
$5
honestly, yeah.
profit or some shit like that. It wasn't bad for just a random last minute pick. And then yeah, any other final thoughts on that one?
Pretty much it for me. I think I might have been riding too much on Jessica
Yeah,
Andrade's name value.
yeah. Well, and then it's like, really, there's only so much you could say about a fight that lasted 90 seconds or so. Like, it happened fast, and yeah, it was good though. Like, all in all, like I said, it's a very solid card.
I was gonna say real quick, Andrade just she has the record for most appearances in her weight class at 35, I believe, in the UFC.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I said that's why they call her, Nick. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and I guess with that many appearances, you're bound to drop a couple, especially fighting in, one of the best organizations as far as talent goes. So, big props to both of them. Andrade will be back. She a competitor. She probably didn't even lose her number. If they did, they like flip flop. But I want to say, yeah, Zhao was like ranked 6 and Andrade was 4. I could see them doing a little flip flop. I could even see Andrade maybe going down to 5, and who's ever at 5 just gets that 6 by default. But good fight. Does that mean we're on the co-main?
We are.
Ooh, all right. So Gilbert Dorino Burns versus Mohammed. Remember the name? Or yeah, Bilal. Remember the name? Mohammed. Um, People are hating. It was a good fight. It could have been better. I don't think I was expecting it to be as one-sided as it was, but yeah, Bilal got the decision there. It looks like in one of the first like their back and forth, one of the first really big I think Dorino shot for a takedown. Not only did he catch a knee in doing that, but as they went to the ground, landed with all of their weight on the left side of Gilbert's body and his shoulder. And for the rest of that fight, Burns was shaking out his hand, and they were speculating there was something wrong with the right arm at first, but then it looked like more so it was with the left. But don't get me wrong, them high kicks after the fact definitely deaded Gilbert's arm on the right side, like because he kept going to the body, to the body, to the point to where Dorino didn't have a choice but to lower his guard to block him. And even when you catch him on the arm, you taking punishment. It's gonna make it harder to throw them punches. And all in all, just a good fucking game plan by Bilal. Gilbert hit him a couple times throughout the fight, but I want to say 2 judges had it 50-45 and then one 49-46, which is about as dominant as you can get without a finish. So shout out to Bilal, and they need to stop calling him Remember the Name, and now it's Bilal Remember My Title Shot, Muhammad, because this motherfucker earned that shit.
Hearing it before this, but yeah, I agree. He's overdue. So, give him the shot. After they're going to give it to Colby, whatever, give Colby his shot and then give Bilal the winner.
And I'm looking at the total strikes of the fight. 132 significant landed for Muhammad versus 81 from Burns, fam. And Burns he got no takedowns.
Well,
They
people
they didn't award him the takedown when he did that.
yeah, no, and people are talking shit too. I try not to look too much in the comments all the time, but people are saying, "Oh, what did Muhammad do? He beat a one-armed Gilbert." Nah, he fucked up Gilbert to where he had one good arm, and then worked him from there. And if Gilbert did come in with a pre-existing injury, that's on the fighter. They know what their body is. They know what, like almost every fighter going in there with injuries, and actually. Bilal didn't talk about it until after the fight, but had something fucked up with I think it was his left leg leading up to that fight. Did something in training when he really started going hard and got through it. Didn't make a big deal about it. It's just one of them things, and I'm not mad at Gilbert if he did get injured prior to this and didn't pull out just because of what the implications were. This motherfucker has worked his ass off since losing to Usman and changed his game up, like started doing things a little different. And so for him, to take this fight when he took it and the chance, just the implications of getting a shot at that strap, maybe not the next, but the winner of that. I see why he did it. I can't even hate on it, but people need to give Bilal his credit. I didn't like Bilal a couple years ago. I think his last fight against Sean Brady kind of started to show me like, okay, this dude is legit. He kind of talks, he's got a big mouth and a big head, but he's backing it up, which we like to see. Only thing I would prefer with Bilal is start getting more of that killer instinct, that finishing ability. Because if you go look at his track history, he's got a lot of decisions. So I see why he gets the hate he does, but people need to wake up and recognize real when it does happen. And he really took it to Gilbert last night.
I just want to add that, that in anything you should have respect for your peers or whatever, right? And I understand a lot of these fighters may or may not have respect for each other. I said, even with that aside, like I get not trying to destroy somebody. At the same time, if I'm like, hey, this motherfucker's not jabbing, or you know what I'm saying? So like he's got a left jab and he's not using it. I'm manipulating that. Oh, your leg hurts? I'm manipulating that. So because in the next fight, the Cejudo had no problem manipulating the injury.
Yep.
You want to talk about that?
Pressing down on that neck.
Well, yeah, let's get into the main event. I think we said what we needed to say for the co-main. If nobody's got anything,
that's how you segue.
Okay.
If you don't want to do it, don't even come. I'm just playing.
So yeah, main event. Fucking Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. Motherfucking Triple C back after a 3-year absence. He kind of did what Bones did, and came back to fight fucking Aljo for the strap for the 135. And I like what Henry did prior to this. He had his little blueprint of what his expectations were, what he was trying to accomplish in coming back. Fell a little short, I guess, because Aljo's and still as of this recording. Good fucking fight though. It was a split decision. 2 judges had it for Aljo, the one for Henry, which is kind of funny because in our chat DMs for the pod, we always talking fights in real time if we ain't watching together. And Dre had it for Aljo, and Paul had it for Aljo. I had it for Cejudo. So there you go. That's the same thing that happened with the judges, and I gave Cejudo 3 rounds to 2. They gave Dre at first, and I think he was being a little haterish. I even said, "Hey, bro, you being biased," but he had it kind of at first. He said 4-1 for Aljo, and he's like, if not 4-1, I could see maybe 3-2. But he felt like he's got the old school mentality and mindset that I do, that if you want to become the champion, you got to beat the champion, and it's got to be definitive. Personally, and this is where I said keep this part in mind because I'm going to come back to it later. With takedowns and control time now, a lot of it still counts as points, but it's not as definitive or as point worthy as it used to be. And we're starting to see that more and more. What would have won Henry this fight on all the judges' scorecards is just very consistent. Not just the pressure, because he had the pressure part down, but he needed to constantly be touching him, even if it's short little rabbit punches. If he would have stayed busy and just constantly, even if there was just taps, he would have won that fight because he would have been busier. He would have been getting extra points for it. Even again, if it doesn't need to be hurting him, but the fact that he's throwing 10, 15 of them little fuckers before Aljo can get back up, that would have won him the fight. And that's, I think, what people are going to need to put into their game plans moving forward and understand, like, hey, I can be the dude that gets the takedowns and I can have this control, but I need to do more with it.
Oh, I agree. And like I said, there's a difference between so if you're a wrestler and they're a striker and you're just taking them down because you can and nothing's coming from it, that's more frowned upon than, oh, I'm just facing somebody and I take them down and they're just really good defensively and I can't get anything. So it looks like I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about those cases. You know what I mean? It was kind of disappointing in this fight, though, because when it was all said and done, it literally felt like Aljo just defended the belt. Like he didn't, and maybe you don't have to in that position. You don't have to go out and show out, you know what I'm saying? And you literally just defend the shit. But
it would have been a better performance. No, you basically just saying instead of resting on the laurels, it like the fight and the way he approached that fight, it halfway reminded me of like when Tim Sylvia was heavyweight champion. He wouldn't go out there to win fights. He would just go out there to not lose. And there's a big difference in how you perform and how you fight when you're fighting just not to lose instead of fighting to win.
And mind you, this is against someone who was gone for 3 years. And that ended in a split decision. If you're defending, it should never end in a split decision.
A split decision in your home area too, where you're supposed to be the favorite.
Against a guy who's coming from a weight class below you.
Yeah, who's technically a flyweight and came up basically to your division after a 3-year layoff and worked you. I mean, you got the dub at the end of the day. You got to hold your strap. You're gonna add another little fucking ruby or whatever precious stone they putting in the belt now. And he's slowly starting to build his reputation as a legitimate contender. I don't like Aljo as a personality. It's like he's more cringy than fucking Cejudo to me. Like the thing with Cejudo is he's got the credentials, and I feel like he's put in enough work to where he's backed it up, and he's allowed to say that type of shit. Whereas like somebody like Aljo, you still got to prove yourself. And again, I'm giving him respect because regardless of what the circumstances were, he went in there and he defended his belt. He's still the champion. So kudos for that. But best believe that there isn't 9 other motherfuckers in that weight class that didn't watch that fight and now has a blueprint to where they feel they can probably beat Aljo. So all in all, it was a good fight.
One especially being your boy, Sugar Sean, fam, stepping in with the Michael Jackson jacket after the fight and telling the champ that he was sloppy, fam. He said, I got you. The champ called him out. I didn't mean to skip that. Champ said, hey, I know you in the building. Sugar Sean, what's up, little bitch? And he said, get Sean in here. Let him respond. He said, you was sloppy.
And let me say though that like I like kind of how they're starting to build this stuff. It's gonna help them sell some pay-per-views to the casuals and stuff. WWE? Yeah, no, that's like I felt so WWE, bro. Like 2 months after that shit merged, and they got people coming into the octagon getting shirtless for a showdown, bro. Like that. Okay, that was great. But then on top of it, what the icing on the cake, and I was improvised, and I'm fucking here for it. It's the second that O'Malley takes his fucking jacket off, fucking Sterling's boy, fucking Marab throws that shit right on, and not
that was
only
my
this,
favorite
like
part.
Must have like had like a spidey sense that this shit was gonna go down because had the red shoes to match for that jacket on already, cheesing like a motherfucker. Like, bro, that like I'm waiting for the memes because I know motherfuckers are about to go crazy with that shit.
Definite WWE element. I'm with the shits. You know what I'm saying? Because again, this is dog. I already see it. And again, when I said earlier that I feel like this is a pivotal one that kind of low key got through everybody, like they were trying shit this night. Like that was a trial. You know what I'm saying? Man, putting dude in at the last second on Grasso's team, that was a trial. Putting Gracie in, that was a trial. You know what I'm saying? Like the dog.
Speaking of, I wanted to ask y'all opinions on it just because of the way it played out, and there's been some chatter. Just because of Crone's relationship with the UFC, I want to say he's still got a fight or two on his contract. But do you think they bring him back after how he handled himself?
I don't see it.
I think they do only if based on what y'all was saying, the likelihood is no. But I say they only would if, how can I say it? If he got serious, basically.
Well, that they're gonna have to if he's got fights left on his contract, because it was either that, like he's in a weird spot, because if they don't release him and he don't fight out these contracts, he can't. He's gonna have to retire, or he can't fight, or he's gonna get sued. So they'll have to come to a compromise if they're not trying to have him back. My guess is if he does, because I want to say he's got at least one fight left on his contract. Is that they'll probably have him back. They'll probably give him somebody up and coming, and it'll be an undercard or a free fight. They're not putting him back on a pay-per-view.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just straight up released him, because we've seen that before. I can't think of who off the top of my head, but it's happened in the past year.
Just even recently, Rockhold asked for his release, and they
I
granted
think
it.
that's right. Right. Yeah. He still had some fights left and they released him. So, I mean, if they have no incentive to put him on cards, I don't see them even having a problem with voluntarily releasing him from his
Yeah,
contract.
no,
and letting him
especially
go.
if the relationships, it seems like it's pretty sour, because Crone, again, it's sense to the Diaz situation. It's how both of them got done towards the end of their career, and like just
Right.
how the UFC handles or conducts business with a lot of people that have done big things for the sport. Like they've got a valid argument, but at the same time, when you're contracted to go in and represent a company and you're fighting under that banner, I mean, the least you can do is show some kind of respect for it. Like, you can have your differences off screen or just do the very minimal. But I was watching part of his pre-fight interviews and stuff, and they were asking Crone, well, what is it, does it mean anything for you to be here, considering what your family has done for the sport and considering what your name is? No, that was his answer. Like, he does not give a fuck about the UFC. And I don't blame him, but I'm also not going to blame the UFC if they release him.
Right.
No, I heard. It's a crazy thing, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you all respect due to the 1-6. Ooh, fam. You can't not talk about this shit and not talk about the niggas. You know what I'm saying? As much as you can't talk about now Bruce Lee without talking about it, man. Without talking about Donnie Yen, without talking about John Wick. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. No, definitely a dope card. And like I said, fam, there was some theatrics and some things going on that I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that they just let their powers combine. UFC and it's gonna be WUFWEC.
Another thing I also will mention about the main event and the post-fight interview, people are speculating already that Henry's going to retire again because he didn't get this dub, and he seemed a little dejected and upset in his post-fight. But you look at the cloth that Henry's cut from, and he expected to win. And I mean, in one judge of the three judges' eyes, he did. So he I can understand and appreciate him being upset about it, but like, bro, you ain't got nothing to be upset about. You took 3 years off. You trained some great fucking fighters. You grew a fucking chance. It's not like you sat there and was stagnant. You started a family. You did a lot of shit in that time off, and then came back and didn't really miss a beat. You're still up there competing with the number one bantamweight in the world right now. You went 5 rounds with the champion, and a lot of the public's eyes thinks that he got that. Like, O'Malley was on record in the post-fight interviews saying that he thought Cejudo got the dub. He probably has some bias in it because he wanted Henry over Aljo. I think he wanted that fight more because Henry been roasting him the last 3 years. But another interesting tweet I did see, though, and I shouted this one out to you earlier, Dre, but I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have access to it right now. But another elite fighter basically said, "Hey, Henry, don't retire. Wait for me. I've got a fight in July and I'm going to win. I'll come up and I'll meet you at 135. Fuck the belt. It's just me and you in this octagon." Can you guess who called him out, Paul?
Oh, I saw this, but I'm trying to remember. Hold on. Someone in 125. It was Brandon Moreno.
Yes, sir.
And you know what I'm saying? Not to call my mans out and understand he is not an appropriator. You know what I'm saying? But when he told it to me, he did it exactly like he did it, except it had a little tahini on it. You know what I'm saying? A little Latin spice. And so when he said it, I was like, all right, so whoever it is obviously is of Latin descent because you had a little spice on that. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yep. I said, Brandon Moreno. He said, yep. I said, hell no, dog.
Hey, bro, no, you can't live in SoCal for as long as I did and not pick up a little bit of
fam.
a
Like, you pick it up.
I got the dialect down for sure.
Oh,
Don't
you pick it
understand the
up.
majority of it, but I can sound like I'm mixed. And that's
Listen,
probably
I'm
why-
black, fam. Everybody sounds like me. You know what I'm saying? They speak proper too. But no,
were you guys able to catch the one championship card with Demetrius Johnson at all?
I
I
did.
was out that night. I think we were performing.
Yeah, you was up in Lincoln, not loving
Yeah.
toes.
Man,
But
still
no, I was.
don't. Except Jessica Andrade, her little ass.
Okay, no, them links incoming. But yeah, no, I got to peep it. I was actually visiting my nephew, who I used to room with and shit. We've been watching fights since we was renting them on VHS when before pay-per-view was big with him and shit. But he wasn't aware of the the different fighting styles. He didn't realize one match might be a Muay Thai match, the next match might be a jiu-jitsu tournament, and he was about it. Like, it was some good fights leading up to it, and DJ's still the GOAT.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
He worked Adrian Moraes for sure. Did you see the Rod Tang fight? Because, man, I love watching Rod Tang fight. That man fucking is violent.
Well, and I got a little distracted in real time as that fight was happening, and then I seen that we'd missed it. I was like, no, was that Rod Tang? No, we got to run this back because my guy told me I need to peep this, and sure enough, I went back and man, I see why you like watching him fight. Yeah, no, what was it? Was a KO by a fucking kick, wasn't it?
I think
I want to say he caught him with a kick, like a high kick to the head, and fucking took him the fuck out, bro. Like, it was a good fight. Good fights altogether. One's doing some big things. Another thing that my nephew was not aware of is that they have implemented some of the old school Pride rules with the kicks to a down opponent and
some of that shit. So too.
Yeah, and they score differently to where and I think it was in real time. I wasn't explaining the rules to him. Obviously, I figured he knew, but when somebody threw, I think, a kick to a down opponent, he said, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh, don't worry, he can do that." And he goes, "They can do that," and I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh shit!" Like, he's like, "I like that," and I was like, "Yeah." Like, fucking he was about it, man, and yep.
No, I missed it, so this all y'all. But Demetrius Johnson, and again, he's on the bantamweight Mount Rushmore.
100%. I feel like he's in the GOAT conversation.
Is he the George Washington though?
No.
Who's the George Washington of bantamweight?
Oh fuck, that's so hard. I'd have to say John Jones because he wasn't George. No, George Washington would be there at the beginning.
The founding father of the bantamweight.
You mean flyweight, right?
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Demetrius Johnson would definitely be the George Washington.
Yeah, if we're talking flyweights, DJ.
And if we're talking the George Washington of bantamweights, I have to give it to Jose Aldo.
I was gonna say Jose or Dominic Cruz. But
yeah, I'd put
Dom's an argument for sure. But if we're talking the first of the first, it's Jose.
Yeah. Sage Northcutt also had started in the UFC and went over to one, and he got a quick victory via submission, which was surprising because he's a striker.
His first fight, and I think it was 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
And what happened was he got traded or cut and went over to one, and he got worked in his first one fight, and he did what a lot of fighters are too proud to do. He took some time off to fix these holes, and I feel like they gave him a tune-up fight, but and he got rocked in the beginning, but
looked
he
way
got
bigger
through
than
it
that
and
guy.
got the sub.
Yep.
Damn.
Stamp Fairtex. The one has always been trying to push her, and I've never really got it until I watched this fight, and she threw the fuck down. So now I'm a Stamp Fairtex fan.
Got you.
And
And
that's
what
pretty
do
much
we?
it for the rest of the card. I thought the
Yeah,
grappling
yep.
matches were pretty lame. I don't know how I feel about one's rule set because
Yeah, the jiu-jitsu match was a little. It
I
was
like watching
different to
grappling,
watch.
but I like watching
Like
grappling
half of that
matches in
fight,
their
it wasn't
sport.
even grappling. That was literally like they was doing the
Yeah.
Russell like hug, like I'm gonna get you,
Yeah.
which I get. Like, but I feel like what they probably should do, especially with them jiu-jitsu tournaments, they should like each round you start. Even let's say a dude gets to finish in a first round, you get points for that sub, and then when you start out the second round, that other person starts in the dominant position. That way, you're starting from a jiu-jitsu base instead of having to work to try to implement or gain that takedown.
They would
But
definitely have to switch some shit up because I think their rules is just 1 10-minute round.
I thought it was like 2 or 3 5 minutes. I could be
It
wrong.
might be. I don't really remember either.
I was halfway paying attention during that. Like I said, the one it was kind of background noise because we was catching up
Right.
and doing our thing,
Right.
but definitely got to enjoy it. I know looking ahead, and I can't physically look ahead right now, but we do have a couple free fight nights coming up over the next couple weeks. I want to say, like, without skipping a beat, that next weekend and the weekend after are UFC fight night scheduled. I don't remember who's fighting who, but we got some good stuff on the horizon as far as some pay-per-views.
Next one is Rosenstrike versus Jailton Almeida.
Okay, yep. That should be at least somebody taking some naps.
Right, big heavyweight bout. They're gonna be throwing heavy.
Also, Anthony Smith and Johnny Walker's on that card.
Yep.
And I would say, actually, that whole card is looking mean. Daniel Rodriguez and Ian Gary from Ireland, bro.
Ian Gary acts like, he throws
that's
down.
gonna be one. Mackenzie Dern and Angela Hill finna get down. That should be decent.
Matt Brown.
Yeah.
Prelims.
Yep. Carl Williams, Cody Stammen. He's decent.
Yeah, I want to say there's like 2 or 3 fight nights before the next pay-per-view, and I think the next pay-per-view that's going to be Nunez and Pena, and Oliveira and Dariush.
No, Pena got dropped. I was going to bring that up.
That's
Pena
right.
Aldana.
That's right.
Already Aldana now.
Yep.
You're right. I want to say I told y'all, like I was the one who broke it to group chat anyways, and then I'm forgetting it live.
All right,
yeah. And like I said in the group chat, I'm not really bummed about that. I felt like the Juliana Pena Amanda Nunes thing was kind of holding up the division. I thought her win in general the first time was kind of a fluke. I thought it was in one of Amanda's off nights.
Well, and the reason Nunez got the immediate run back is because of how dominant she had been at champion. Like, It's not like Juliana defended the strap. Like, it was pretty clear that she lost this last fight. Like, I felt like they at least, at the minimal, should have made her run at least one fight in between to show, hey, I'm still game.
Right.
June 3rd is fight night. Kai Kara France and Amir Albazi. We got Misha Tate as a co-main on that versus Myra Buena Silva.
They're giving her
Jim
away.
Miller's on that card. Jamie Malarkey on everything. And then we got 289 on the 10th, the Nunez Irani.
And speaking a little farther forward, just because I'm excited about this, and if all goes right, 2/3. Well, no, I'm looking forward to July, and you know why.
Oh yeah, I'm moving up to that. If you know what I'm saying.
I
want to do the show right.
Okay. But yeah, no, 2/3 of the It's Almost Time podcast group is going to be local for International Fight Week in Las Vegas, Nevada, and UFC 290. We won't actually be at the event unless we can pull some strings and mingle with the right people. But we are doing the VIP access, we doing the convention, and we trying to get that Megan O'Leary interview.
You feel me?
I think she caught on though because she wasn't doing the claw last night.
Yes, she was.
In the early part, but like I don't remember what part I noticed. I think it was the start of the pay-per-view. She was legit doing her like a normal, the most normal mic stance I've ever seen Megan O'Leary use.
Damn.
It's
So
all right, I'm picking up the slack.
I hope it's not her C hand. Like when she's C'd up, then that's how she grabs the mic. Because then I'm gonna feel bad. Because then Dana gonna drug test her, and I don't want her to lose her job because her baby's.
Oh, I know. No, she's the breadwinner now.
I know. I know. I ain't trying to break up a happy home, fam. You feel me? But yeah, no, it's a lot of things coming up. I seen Amanda Hebus about to fight again, like in the next month. Yeah, it's gonna be some stuff, but yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get an official announcement too, as far as what's happening with Jones and Stipe. I highly doubt that it's happening at 290. They still got a lot of room on that card, though. I feel like the only big fights that have been announced on that is, I want to say, Moreno's defending his title. And isn't fucking, or no, is Volks in June, or is he in July? Because Volk and Yair are coming up too. And I want to say it's July. I don't know if they've officially signed, but that's what they're shooting for.
So after 289, it looks like they got on the June 17th, Vittori Cannonier. After that is Josh Emmett and Taporia. And that's also got the Hebus and Macy Barber fight on it. After that, Strickland and Magomedov, Abbas, I don't know how to say that. And then
Strickland just don't give a fuck.
July 8th is Moreno Pantoja. It looks like Duplessis and Whitaker's on that as well. Dan Hooker and Jalen Turner. Robbie Lawler.
I have a feeling they're gonna try to get Volk and Yair on that one, because usually, I could just be speculating. I know that's what they was talking originally, but I know they're trying to make that fight happen. And with that being International Fight Week, like, nothing against Moreno, nothing against Whitaker, but they need an oomph fight to really sell that card.
And then after that is Holly McCann on the 22nd, it looks like. But yeah, coming. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'm going to have some footage, but like that the aim was to mainly go and actually enjoy the event, you know, outside of trying to do, you know, some personal things. But
right.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, we're going to keep it rocking, trying to build the credibility, build the brand, and get invited to some more fights as media, possibly. So, you know what I'm saying? I guess until the next time, what them niggas used to say, good fight, good night. Peace out.